This is Kristel Saudi, your host, and welcome to the Fashion Design Hub for another exciting episode. So, today, our guest is a mother of two awesome adults. She's a wife supported by her husband and her endeavors. And to friends and colleagues, she's an accelerator, an advisor, and an ally. Let's welcome to the show Anna de Chavez. Hi, Anna.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, good evening to you. Thank you for joining me today, Anna. How's your day so far? And I hope it's working so fine. And I wanted to ask you to, well, if you could introduce yourself so that our listeners can know more about you.
Yeah, so again, I'm Anna. I'm a mother of two adults. I already have a son working, and I have a beautiful 18-year-old daughter. She has autism spectrum disorder, and I've been working for the past 22 years. I've been working in the development finance sphere. I wore different hats in my work as a consultant. I manage departments. I'm a resource person. I do training. I do coaching, and mostly these are in banking or financial institutions set up. So that's it.
Thanks for sharing that, Anna. So, the Fashion Design Hub, as you know, is a podcast. It's a new podcast aiming to help women to inspire and give inspiration to women who are somehow looking at self care as a struggle or somehow not giving enough time for themselves. So, if you could just give me how's a day for Anna de Chavez, how does it look like?
Well, it looks very different today. Yeah, after the pandemic. With the past 22 years, when I had my kids and I started working, I've been traveling a lot. So in almost all areas in the Philippines and sometimes outside the Philippines for training and conferences. But like in a month, I would say like 70% of the time I'm traveling because of work. So now it's quite a different routine for me. But it's also something that brought a lot of changes, adapting to this kind of routine. And you would think that if you work from home, it will be easier. Well, actually, it's not. The more that I practice time blocking so that I would be able to do my tasks, because I do consulting work right now and I'm studying at the same time, because circumstances also gives me opportunity to study a new area in terms of marketing, which is on the digital side. And that's something that I would say a blessing with all the what's happening right now. And at the same time, of course, I'm a hands-on mom. Even before that, I get to travel and I'm really working full time. I'm very hands-on. Um, in terms of but it's a good thing that my husband would always help me in terms of um the activities at home or maintaining the household. But when it comes to taking care of the kids, taking care of the household, it's I would say it's still a full time for me. Even full time work is still full time that I manage the household. So like for example today, just for an example, I do my weekly grocery, then I went back do some of the things at home, cook, and then I attended a launching of a event for connected women, and then I checked my emails just before we record. So here's another an activity, and probably later this evening I get to read also. And yeah, that's it. That's how I do my day right now. During not after, it's still during the pandemic.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. It looks really
Mm,
busy. And you mentioned about time blocks.
mm,
Um, can you explain how you do it to the listeners, to those who don't know what time block is?
okay.
Time blocking.
Well, a lot of people would quite do it differently, no, but I'm just going to share how I do it, because it was a struggle for me to do different lots of things, and at the same time you're at home. There are a lot of distractions when you're at home and trying to do some work. So I would say most of us working moms, um, before this happened, would always dream, oh, I wanted to spend more time at home. I wanted to be a housewife. Well, any career woman would have, I think, that dream, even if they wanted to pursue also their careers. But now that we are stuck at home, actually it's more difficult. So what I do is, at the end of the day, I would plan what I have to do next day. I have to prioritize which of the things that I have to do the other day, because even if I have a list of things to do, I have only 24 hours time. I have to sleep. So I have to do things for myself, and I have to be realistic that even though I plan to do all of these things, I cannot do everything tomorrow. So what I do, for example, I would say, first for 2 hours of the morning, I would do this certain task, and then I would stop and like prepare for lunch, and then after that I would do another set of activity. So it may be related to the activity in the morning, or it may not be related to that. It's another thing. And then I also take into consideration the time that I am most productive, so that I can allot that activity for the specific time. I could identify an activity for the specific time. Okay. So I think also the work from home scenario would also change my the way I handle my time. So I do most of the productive work later in the evening, when it's quiet, no, and there's less distraction, especially if there are things that have to be done at home. So it's quite a stretch, but one thing that's good about it is you're at home. You can see your kids, you're with your family. Because sometimes, if you come to think of it, it's quite different that, for example, you're a working mom, you do everything before you go to the office. And then when you're in the office, you're really 100% focused on your work, because the family is not there. You would just text or call, but at least you would really spend 8 or even 9 hours of your time devoted to work. Then you go back, you're 100% doing things at home. I'm like that before, because maybe I was lucky enough to able to master that craft, that when I go home, I leave every all issues in the office, and then um just focus on what needs to be addressed at home. I said that I'm blessed that I have mastered that, because admittedly not all female could do that. Though I've talked to a lot of my staff asking me about it, but maybe it's quite a discipline, and it's something that you have to do, not only talk about it or dream of doing it. So right now, that's how I do it. It's quite different. So there's a lot of adjustments.
Yeah, I can so relate when you mentioned about almost all career women want to stay home, work at home, and now that they got the taste of working from home, they found that it's not really that easy because they have to like, multitask. And I admire you for that because even myself while working from home I find it really sometimes very difficult really to manage like when I have a 5-year old and my 5-year old would sometimes join me in meetings like and we if we have like an emergency meeting she's gonna be there joining me. So which is why I think I mentioned before that um I don't usually switch on my camera
Mm.
because it's gonna be distracting for everyone. So you mentioned also about travel. So, I mean, in terms of traveling, as you know, it's not really open right now. I mean, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of traveling everywhere around the
Mm-hmm.
country. So, I wanted to ask, where are you based? In Are you in Manila, or are you in somewhere in the province?
I'm based in Metro Manila, but with my work or even previous work would entail me to go to the like in Mindanao, Northern Luzon, or even in the Visayas. Now I'm stationed here.
Cool. That's so cool. Okay. Um. So, in terms of um when you wake up in the morning, you mentioned also that you wake up, you allot time in the morning, and also the productive
Mm.
activities will be done at the end of the day. So, what is like what time do you wake up and what time do you sleep? How do you manage to like have a complete set of hours for sleeping
Mhm.
or
So
for
if I
rest?
have early appointments, I have to wake up early, like 7 or 8, because I have to. But if there are no appointments the next day, then I know I can stretch my time in the evening or sometimes early morning to do some things because I need to cool down after after doing like writing because I'm writing an ebook right now. So like for example, when you're writing, somehow your adrenaline is quite high. And then when you wanted to retire after that, you need to cool down. So start to listen to music. I watch some funny videos in the internet just to it's like a cool down before I go to sleep.
I'm glad that you mentioned that you have to cool down before going to bed,
Mm.
right? So, now going to self care as the main topic of the podcast, is this like part of your self care routine, or are there other more that you can share so that we can
Ah,
also give tips to others?
yeah. Actually, this is something that I would always advise my female staff because having the me time in general, no, the self care thing, having the me time, sometimes they feel that they are guilty of doing some things because if they allot more time for themselves, they are depriving their family the time that could have been devoted to them. I would always tell them that you cannot give what you do not have. If you do not take care of yourself, you will not be able to take care of your family. If you wanted your kids to do the same, to take care of themselves, then you must be an example for that. And I would always tell them, of course, before you become a wife, before you become a mother, you are a woman. And you have your needs as a woman. And you have to fulfill that at any point in your life. Because you whatever field, um even if you're a housewife, you're not a career woman, no, you have to meet meet your needs, no, as a woman. And you must always feel confident, you must always feel assured, and nobody else could give that to you but yourself. So you must always take care of yourself, and taking care of yourself, of course, it starts with physically. Not only you wanted to look beautiful, you wanted to look sexy. It means that first things first, you have to be healthy. Because the psychological and the mental wellness will always go with that. It's hard to be like, for example, if your work entails a lot of mental activity or it's quite stressful, if you are not physically prepared for it, it will be hard for you. Even for my male staff, I would always tell them, and if they will listen to me in this podcast, so it's like an echo for them. Um, you must always have a physical activity that you can engage in because it helps stimulate your brain to think correctly or to be creative. So it doesn't have to be like a very strenuous work or very hard physical activity or very difficult exercise, but something that you love. that you are not forced to do. Because if you have to do an exercise and you are not happy doing it, then it will not, I don't think it will create that hormones that will make you happy. No? So even like a leisure activity, at least you do something that will make you happy, so that um it will create that mood that would motivate you to do other things. So I'm very simple. Um, it was not hard for me when you were younger. Women talk. It's a lot different when you are 40s up. It was a lot
Yeah.
easier. Yours, me, I very I have less maintenance before. But you have to admit, when you're like 40 and up, which I am, I'm already 45. So before, I'm not really that meticulous in terms of skincare, because I thought I am fortunate
Mm.
enough to have the good genes. But when you age, you have to really do that maintenance of cleaning, moisturizing, and everything. Because not only you do it because not for other people, because you wanted to feel good about yourself. And of course, healthy healthy eating is very important. Again, when you are older, you have to somehow also shift your diet to the healthier one.
Yeah.
Sometimes, even if you don't like to, the things that you will feel in your body will tell you that you have to. So my husband and I have lessened very very minimal that we eat the red meat. It's just like at least once a week, so that we will not feel sad or deprived. So
Mm-mm.
we as
Yeah.
much as possible, we try to be a vegetarian, but I think it's really hard to really be a straight vegan even, and at least a vegetarian, but somehow we consume still a little of that meat. Well, those are for older, probably for older women, that they have to look at. And I think part of self care also is being able to communicate with other people, with friends. No? Whether we don't see each other now, at least in the social media, I mean, so yeah, using Facebook, or you can give your friends call. It helps a lot in your disposition, especially now that we don't see each other.
I love that you're intentional and you really know what the body needs. I mean, holistically based on your story. But was there ever a time that, you didn't think that way? And if you did, what changed it?
Um, Well, I think the only thing that made the difference is biologically. There are things that you will feel in your body that will tell you so. No, especially, I remember my friend when I was, I think, in the late 20s. I was working in a bank, and she's like 10 years older than me. Anna, when you become 30 plus, it will be different. And when you become 40 plus, it will be different again. So it's the same phase that I'm going through, and I think it's logical that I have to there are things that you cannot deny. Like you can say, oh, I'm different from the others. I'm not like that before. Yeah, you're not like that before, but you are like that now. So you have to make adjustments. So another thing also that um have I have to really be careful about is because I also have hypothyroidism. So even women who have generally will slow down the metabolism as they get older, I have a condition of hypothyroidism that came out from my hyperthyroidism before. It was cured, and then the doctor would tell me that later on it will develop into a hypothyroid condition. So I think that I have to be more careful also with that. And of course, you wanted to enjoy life more. You wanted to enjoy life with your family, so you're doing that for yourself and for your family as well.
Yes, super agree. Um, Family is really like we influence them, right? So whatever we do as, moms in the house, that's also what our families would, would look at, especially our kids. If they see us not taking care of ourselves, then I agree. You mentioned a while ago that if we want our kids to take care of themselves, then we as moms or the women in the house should also be taking care of ourselves, because that's what they're perceiving, and therefore they are absorbing that specific programming or specific habit that we are actually doing. So, Anna, what's your guiding principle that you live up to on a daily basis, like when you wake up in the morning? And just for the last question, I wanted to maybe you can relate it. So, what is also the advice that you would give to women who feel that they don't have time for themselves, and you know that this is something that they cannot afford?
Okay. So, my guiding principles is very simple. You just, um, I mean, we have years of education. We work, we were raised by our parents well, and we work, or we had a company of a number of people that um, were good influence to us. And I think with all those life experiences, what I can say is that I try to get the best from those experiences and from the people I meet. And I think if I look at myself now, I am a combination of all those people that I've encountered, and I have experience with. And it's and what I have whatever I learned from all those experiences since I was a child, um it's like, just you have to do what is appropriate. You just have to do what is supposed to be done, even though others don't seem to agree with it. I would say I would always live up to that value, to that principle. Um I I don't fear being alone or being with few people if we know that um, that is the right thing to do, or that is the way that we should go. Because it may sound so idealistic, no, for some, but I think people who knows me would agree with that. And in doing so, I think I've gained the acceptance of most people that cared for me, that I care for, because obviously you cannot please everybody. So it's something also that is something that I have accepted as a fact, that I shouldn't expect too much from people, because it's quite frustrating. It might block what you are supposed to do. So if you know something, if you wanted to do something, you just have to be focused with it. Always speak the truth, and always try to help others. So I would always say that we rise by lifting others. We cannot rise by lifting ourselves. Even physically, you cannot do that. So it's just right that, I mean, not only about teachings in religion, but I would always say, I think it's a cycle of life. If you do good to others, so good things will come to you as well. And for as an advice to other women who thinks that self-care is something that is, um you say, expensive for them, not only probably monetarily, but because of their time, because I would also consider that as an expense. I think what is more expensive or not worth your time is, um not taking care of yourself at all. It's the other way around, because you will regret a lot of things in not taking care of yourself, not only deteriorating health, but really getting more out of life. Because as I've said, we leave as example to our family, to our friends, to our colleagues. And and even though we set that as a goal, always keep in mind that you should do something because you love doing it. You do it for yourself. You make yourself happy, because only in making yourself happy you can make others happy. No, it comes from within. No, you cannot get it from others, and it will be obvious if you if you're faking it. No, so um just just like for example, in terms of being it's expensive in terms of time. um just have a schedule of your activities, and always allot, even you start with 1 hour a day or 3 hours a week for yourself. So you have to do it. You just don't think about it. You have to do it. And it will make you feel good. It will not make you feel guilty, because at the end of the day, if you know that your deepest why is your family, you wanted to care for your family, then you would always incorporate in that you have to be always at your best. And you can always do that if you're going to do something about it. No, it's not your husband that will make you feel best. It's only yourself. So I think that's as just a simple advice. Always block. If I use in blocking time, always block that 1 hour a day with everything. Even at night, take a long shower. As basic as that. Lock yourself in the shower that your children will not go there, or ask a lot of things from you, read a book, or take a time off for yourself, or with your girlfriends. No, if you're missing your girlfriends, at least once a month. If being weekly is too much, no, but you have to start somewhere. No, you have to start somewhere, and you have to start now.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful advice. I learned a lot from that, especially, the time blocking. I think if women who are not familiar with that, I think they will definitely learn from what you have explained in this podcast episode. So, lastly, Anna, where can we find you? Where can our listeners find you? If you could share that too.
Yes. I have a Facebook page. It's called Straight Talk by Anna. I think if you just write it down, you can find it. I have a web page. No, it's you can I think you can find it also by writing my name, Ana de Chavez. No, but just yesterday, my husband is doing something about the domain, so probably will migrate it. But the Ana de Chavez, you can see that rated A, in that website. So Straight Talk by Anna, and also we have a YouTube channel. It's also Anna de Chavez. So it just started recently. I'm sharing advices in terms of personal finance, and then we formed this small Facebook group with friends,
Mm-hmm.
wherein we try to share each other's advocacies, no, different stories. So I also share that in my YouTube channel, Anna de Chavez. So actually, I have already interviewed two members. One is an artist, so dance artist who represented the Philippines already outside, and then one Gen Y also who's promoting personal mobility, no, which is also something that is very in today, that people are starting to use bicycles as a primary means of mobility. So we'll have more sharing with that in our group, but I'm sharing it also in my YouTube channel, as well as in my Straight Talk by Anna Facebook page.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. Look for Anna de Chavez on YouTube and on Facebook, Straight Talk by Anna. Is it?
Yes.
I got it right. Okay. And it's also double N. Anna is
Yes.
double N. Okay.
And
So
double
Anna
N.
de Chavez. Okay. So thanks so much for your time tonight, Anna. And I do hope that a lot of women will get inspired with your message, with how you explained what self care really is for all of us. So thank you so much and have a nice day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yan. Thanks, Anna.